Many thanks for clicking on to attheraces.com as we look ahead to the Cheltenham Festival and the Jewson Novices Chase. Joining us to cast his expert eye over the field is pro punter Andy Gibson. And Andy, really this race revolving around the news that Peddlers Cross runs in the Jewson as opposed to the Arkle, it completely changes the shape and makeup of the race.
It does, doesn't it? And I think we're going to face over the next 24 hours the inevitable overreaction to that news, and Peddlers Cross is inevitably going to be much shorter than he should be, at least for the next couple of days, I would suggest.
Well, let's have a look at the entries and the prices then for the Jewson. Alpha Off, Champion Court's in there for non-stop. Peddlers Cross is now in the Jewson. That's where he runs. Also Sir de Champ for Willie Mullins. Solix for Nicky Henderson. And let's have a look at the prices then. Peddlers Cross with Ladbrokes now the 5-2 favourite. Crystal Bonus at 4-1 for Paul Nicholls. Sir de Champ and also Alpha Off both at 5-1. Alpha Off though more likely to go for the Arkle. 4 non-stop at 6-1. Champion Court 8-1 alongside Solix, and a whole host of horses there on 8-1 for the Jewson. But what do we make of Peddlers Cross this season? And he's been to Cheltenham twice for the festival. He's won the hurdle race there a couple of years ago, the Neptune. He was second last year at Hurricane Fly. He looked very impressive his first couple of chase starts at Bangor in small fields. The wheels came off last time at Kempton. Do we read into that he's had a problem since Kempton, or maybe just he's not the same horse that he was? What would be your take on it?
Really difficult to say. I mean, at the end of the day, if he's not good enough to go for the Arkle, would you want to be backing him for the Jewson at 5-2 for the Jewson on the back of him not being up to the challenge of the Arkle? You can see, I mean, I presume what they're going to be saying is the slower pace, help him with his jumping. But, those are, in terms of a punting possibility, you absolutely have to oppose a horse that they have concern, a 5-2 favourite that they have concerns about the jumping.
The vibes the last couple of weeks have been very negative overall, haven't they, with this horse? They've now turned around and said he's pulled muscles when he won at Kempton. Since then, they've not been able to school him as intensively, which is going to have to be a big concern coming into a festival race. And why, as you say, you'd want to look at a horse like that, who's obviously had problems and is coming here as almost an afterthought. Yeah. Ludicrous to have him at the top of the betting.
It is, and that's not obviously Donald McCain's fault. At the end of the day, they're doing what's correct, what they believe is correct for their horse, and they're a very, very professional outfit. They're making what they believe is the correct choice. As punters, we need to make what we believe is the correct choice, which is completely different.
Yes, there might be value then in the rest of the market. And let's have a look at a horse who's unbeaten in 2 starts. Comes here on the back of a nice win last time out at Kempton. The Pendulum, we can see him here winning at Chepstow. Maybe a little bit light on experience, Crystal Bonus, but he's looked very sure-footed so far.
He has, and I particularly like the way that he quickened away last time out against Duke of Lucca. I know that form wouldn't be absolutely top-notch, mainly because you had, I think you had Zaynard trying to refuse at the first fence. You had Minella Class not running up to any sort of form, so the race there was no strength in depth whatsoever. But Richard Johnson and Duke of Lucca really sort of put it up to Crystal Bonus as they turned into the straight, and I really like the way that I think that will benefit Crystal Bonus, having that experience of being taken on, jumping well and then moving on. I thought that was really, really impressive, albeit in a race that leaves him with a little bit to find on form.
Yeah, well, he certainly stamped his mark on the closing stage there and won on good ground at Kempton. A horse who's been winning on softer ground over in Ireland is Sir de Champ, who carries the very famous Gigginstown house colours. He's got a couple of entries at the festival. He's in the RSA, but he's progressed. He's won at Fairyhouse, Limerick, and then here at Leopardstown towards the end of January. Impressive as though this is, Andy. I just worry that beating Fists of Fury maybe isn't top-class Grade 1 form.
Yeah, and there was a couple of pointers here. First of all, Fists of Fury, I presume, is still going for the 4-miler. The second point to make would be that Hidden Cyclone was running here, and it was the last, I think it was just about the last horse Shark Hanlon had run for a week or two, because he clearly had something wrong in the yard. We've no idea whether that horse ran up to its form or not. Of the 2 races, I would prefer to see Sir de Champ in the RSA chase, I would think, rather than the 2.5-miler. And of course, you've got the added thing again about faster ground, Cheltenham Festival, fast pace. He hasn't got that sort of experience. Having said that, he's unbeaten in 6 National Hunt races, and he's won at the Cheltenham Festival. But he was badly outpaced last year, wasn't he?
He was.
And came through on that. I just think there's a hint that perhaps he might have a better chance in the RSA than this.
And given that Fist of Fury is a real stare as well, that would sort of back that up again. But let's have a look at one of the English contenders for this again then. 4 non-stop. He finally got his head in front last time out. Nick Williams trains him, but he's got some good form mixed in with the likes of Q Card that you have to give him a little bit of respect.
Well, he won a Grade 1 race last time out, but it was a Grade 1 race in name only, you'd have to say. I mean, the second horse, Michael Phipps, was Flitz.
Michael Phipps. I mean, he won a handicap, hadn't he, before that?
137 or something, and I think he went up to 145. You would have to be concerned about that race. Going into that race, for Non-Stop, in his previous 13 runs, had won once off a mark of 112 in a Chepstow handicap hurdle. Now, whichever way you look at it, that's not the form, that's not the profile of a horse that you would see winning a Grade 2 at the Cheltenham Festival. Having said that, last time out, I thought it wasn't the profile of a horse going to win a Grade 1 at Newbury. But you've got to have major doubts about the form of for Non-Stop.
Yep, and very much so. I think as well as his course form as well. He's been at Cheltenham a few times and not really put it all in. Yeah,
he perhaps would have gone very close last year, but for falling, wouldn't he, in the hurdle race?
Yeah.
You know, there's horses with stronger profiles than him in this race.
Well, one of those with a stronger profile could be Champion Court. Here are the thoughts of his trainer, Martin Keithley.
Champion Court is, I mean, you've got a few stars here, but he'd be pretty near top of the list, wouldn't he?
Yeah, he would be, definitely. He was impressive winning that Grade 2 at Cheltenham last time, and he's had a break since then, and he's come back fresh and well and jumped well this morning.
When he won at Cheltenham last time, and he had some notable scalps he accounted for there, didn't he?
He did, yes, and he's one good thing, he jumped fantastic as well.